Yes, peoples, welcome back to Outliers TV, and today I'm going to do something a little different. We're going to talk about what it takes to go pro in football. Now, this can also correlate to different sports, football, basketball. This could be a life lesson for some. So if you know someone that's trying to go pro in any sport, in any discipline that they know of, send it to them. This might be helpful.
Yes,
I'm going to be using Cristiano Ronaldo as a case study, an example, if you will, because he is in the modern day era probably the best example of what a professional looks like, mindset, work ethic, and all of the above. If this sounds like your cup of tea, then buckle in for the show.
That's got a lovely piece of control by Regis. Oh, what a great shot! Oh, Cyril Regis.
First and foremost, you're probably thinking to yourself, why do I have the ability to talk about this? Well, let's talk about my family first and foremost. I come from a football heritage that is second to none.
Yes, now.
I have a cousin named Jason Roberts. He was one of the original Vardys. Went from amateurs to semi-pro, third, second, first, prem. Now, they just don't make players like that no more. Those opportunities are kind of scarce.
Heads go up, Kevin Davis flicked it on, Pedersen clears it upfield, it's high in the air, it'll bounce midway inside the Rovers half. It's allowed to bounce by Bolton, and now Roberts picks up and he might go on a run forward. He was caught by a couple of men, he's still going and he might have a chance to win the game for Rovers. Roberts edge of the box, wins the game for Rovers! And he did all the hard work himself, and in the 90th minute Jason Roberts has surely won the derby for Rovers. It's Bolton 1, Rovers 2.
I have an uncle named Dave Regis. He also played pro.
Clarkson to Regis. Oh, toil without much trouble so far. David Regis. Oh, but he hits that! Oh my word! Oh my word! Brazilians, eat your heart out.
I have another uncle named Otis Roberts. He played pro overseas. And then my pops, Cyril Regis,
Yes, now.
right there, was one of the first black players to ever play for England and played for over 5 different clubs. A true legend, might they say. The man has a statue. Put some respect on a man's name.
As always, Greg Downs is available. Regis. Bennett steps over the attentions of Madden. Regis! Now, Cyril Regis with just Hodge to beat, and he has! Cyril Regis, his 12th goal of the season.
I also have a cousin named John Regis. He also won silverware at the Olympics. Our genetics is no joke. I gotta start selling some of this stuff. Really?
From left, making up ground on the athletes outside him. And Fredericks at the moment not making any impression on the reigning European champion. They come into the straight. This is where Fredericks normally makes the charge over the last 50 metres, but Regis is holding him at bay, and Britain's Regis wins there, his first ever victory.
Now, growing up amongst elite athletes, and my dad going from point A to point B in the field of football. But also when he retired, he became a coach, and he also became an agent. He had the likes of Bale, Defoe, like he had a lot of top flight players that he used to look after and broker deals for. So he knows what to look for. And I used to go with him, and I used to sit with him. We used to talk and ponder and discuss what it takes to be a top flight footballer.
Before, I grew up around here, Abbey Road, where it was 2 up, 2 downs, no toilets. Moved to Stonebridge, lived there a lot of years. I went to Cardiff Hindu School in Holston. At the school, I left school at 16. I got a job electrician. I played Sunday morning football in Regent's Park. Somebody spotted me in Regent's Park. They offered me £5 a week to play football at Moseley, which was hard work, because I had to go to college, I had to go work on the building site. So on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, I had to leave college at 3 in the afternoon, go down to Moseley or to Hayes, travel, play a game of football at 7:30, get home at 2 in the morning, and get up at 6 to do 10 hours at the building site. Done that for 2 years. At 19, I was played quite well. I passed my exams as a qualified electrician. And when I say this about it, because your education is fundamental. Your education is fundamental. My dad said to me, go and get yourself a trade, go and get yourself a education. If football doesn't happen, if you weren't quite good enough, or you had a broken leg, you got something else to go to. So I left West Brom, I left Hayes, and I got bought by £10,000 to West Brom. £10,000. There was only one black player playing in the whole of the First Division. That was Rory Cullen at West Brom. I went there, Brendan Batson went there, and we had 3. Altogether, in 1977, there was only 4 black players. Myself, Rory Cullen, Brendan Batson, and Viv Anderson. 4. So as you usually say, just imagine going to Chelsea, West Ham, Birmingham, Newcastle. I'm not talking about 1 or 2 racist remarks. I'm talking 10,000 people. Nigga, lick my boots, throwing bananas on the pitch. In 81, 82, I got my first England call-up. Got a letter through the post that said, if you put your foot on that Wembley turf, you get one of these for your knees. A bullet came through the post. Bullet, that was the kind of hatred and opposition we had to fight. But what I'm going to say to you today is what I've learned, and I'm a football agent. How much talent do you think you need to be a footballer? Out of 10, 100%. Give me a number. How much talent do you think you need?
40%.
Pardon?
40%.
40%. Tell me how much percent? 50. 60. 50. How much? Okay, so 40 plus. 15-20% talent. That's all you need. Sometimes people do it with 5-10% talent, playing the Premiership. So you got to ask me then, what's the rest then if it's only 10% talent? What do you think the rest is?
Dedication.
Education.
Knowledge.
Knowledge. Hard work.
Desire.
Comes in 3 big areas. Attitude. I don't care how talented you are, wrong attitude. Attitude, determination, sacrifice, discipline. You got a Friday night, you got a game Saturday. Your mate say, come on big man, come on, there's a party. Julie's gonna be there, she's fit. Are you gonna stay in because you got a game Saturday, or are you gonna go out? Sacrifice, discipline. That's what it's all about. Mental strength with a mentality, that's that. Next one, passion, love and desire.
A lot of my emails and a lot of my DMs have been from parents, young lads, a lot of fathers that are discussing about their sons or their daughters going pro. Like, oh, my kid is really good, he really loves football, he loves your channel. What does it take? Could you watch him play? Here's some footage. And I'm truly grateful for that, really I am. And I give my feedback. If you're out there, you know who you all are. And the first thing I always say is ask the question of the why. Why do they want to go pro? What is the purpose? What is the goal? Now, there is no perfect answer here. It's just one of those questions to get them thinking of why, get them thinking beyond just enjoying the sport. The reasons can range from family, love, enjoying, wanting to travel the world. It really doesn't matter, but you have to harness the why. And this also correlates into the passion, love, and obsession. Now, me personally, I don't think love is enough. I don't think enjoying is enough. There has to be a level of obsession, almost savant level, just laser focusedness when it comes to wanting to go pro. Because when you're at those certain tender ages, your focus is everywhere. Your mindset is everywhere. You're learning about yourself. You're learning about life. Are you lasered in to what your goal truly is? And when I say obsession, I don't mean an unhealthy obsession. Let's be sensible here.
If you want to be a football player, work hard, believe in yourself, and dreaming, you know? Training well, listen to your coaches, listen to your parents, and work hard, okay? This is my advice.
Alright. Keith.
I'm talking about the kid that sleeps with the ball in his bed, the kid that watches every game, knows the stats, knows the players, knows the history, that doesn't have to ask to go to training, that practices outside by himself, after games works out, before games works out. The level of desire that you literally cannot manufacture in someone, they just have to have it. You can't teach it. I would also like to talk about outliers and genetics. Now, these are huge components. Some players don't have that. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, there are a lot of coaches and managers that look at your parentals and your family history before signing you. I remember Sir Alex Ferguson and other coaches used to interview your parents. They wanted to see what your parents looked like, the height, the size, all of these things matter. Now, there are outliers. Look at Messi. He was skinny, scrawny. He technically should never have played football if you really look at him. But those outliers are a dime a dozen, especially in this modern day era. In this modern day era, every footballer that is on the field is first an athlete, no matter what. This ain't the 80s or 90s no more where you can skim by.
In the early years, maybe not. In the first couple of years, didn't think he would reach those heights. But then I think after 2005-06, when he started becoming, his body just completely transformed from being quite thin and skinny to being completely different, and his goal scoring, his decision making, maturity at that point. Once you saw him sort of playing at that level, then you thought, wow, that 2006 to 2008 was unbelievable.
You have to become an athlete first. Now, I know there's a great book called Outliers, or The Outliers, when they talk about, you know, your age and where you live and all those different components. Those are real things. I definitely suggest getting that book. Any young player that's trying to come up in the game, honestly, that book should be one of the first books you read. The path you take to become a pro is different everywhere in the world. Now, I know in America, it is high school, club, college, and then you go pro depending, right? In England, I know players that are 9, 10 that are playing for the academies, and they sign contracts from those ages. Some players are shipped from all over the world. Now, this is definitely a component because you have to think about it. You kind of have to be realistic, right? Like, if you live in the middle of nowhere in South Africa, let's say, what are your chances of being spotted? Now, I honestly say, you must, at this digital era, you must record. You have to record yourself. Now, obviously, if you're playing at an academy level, you don't really need to do that because all eyes on you already. But if you're outside of the academies and you're trying to get seen, there is only one way. Your highlight reel needs to be specific. It needs to be thoughtful, not just the goals, but it needs to show work rate, it needs to show intelligence, and it needs to show a good touch. The fundamentals of football. And don't get me wrong, goals definitely help, especially if you're a striker or a winger. Like, you need those, trust me. You ain't gonna work otherwise. Playing for the academies is a true testament of what it is like to go pro. I am telling you, yes, they may be young, but that level of talent is scary stuff. I remember playing in the School of Excellence, and there were players from all over the world. Like, I think like 30-40% of the dressing room barely even spoke English. Now, some of these boys' skill level, I am telling you, it was scary. Like, coming from my background, I think I'm elite. My chest was high. I'm pinging, I'm touching, I'm doing my bit. But some of these other players were just exquisite, and they played with a different level of intensity because of their backgrounds.
We were all in the toilet, remember? We played against Sporting Lisbon.
All in the toilet?
Yeah, we played against Sporting Lisbon. Half time comes, we played against Sporting Lisbon. Half time comes, we come in, he was like a 17-year-old, no one had heard about him. Yeah. Just back off tour, we was all jet lagged, etc. And we're in the toilet going, we've got to sign this guy. And we're looking in the change room and seeing Shazy was marking him. John O'Shea was like this. He couldn't get near him. Sorry, Shazy, but it was that was the moment you say, well, we have to. By the time we got home, he was signed, still delivered.
Now, you have to remember, certain players are playing for different reasons. Are you strong enough to go against a kid that his family is homeless and this player is the meal ticket? Can you do it against a player that comes from a war-torn country that has that level of fire and desire that you cannot teach? Football is a game of millimeters, yards, and space. Certain players can make up those millimeters and those yards in a different kind of way. You kind of have to be in it to see it. At this young age is fine, but when you go against the men, and the men that have families to feed, and the men that have never had anything before, can they truly push themselves over the edge for that ball in that moment, sacrifice their body body, sacrifice their mind, put in the time, put in the effort, that level of grit, that is something that needs to be either taught or manufactured. It has to be manufactured in some type of way.
Cristiano Ronaldo, who like you has gone on to have a career of true longevity. What are your memories of sharing a dressing room and a club with him?
I remember one of the conversations with him in the gym. Yeah, now I really want to become the best player in the world. So yeah, so Ronnie said, a lot of people say that. No, I really want it. That's like, okay, what are you going to do about it? Yeah, everything. One of the funny stories I find always after training, Edwin wanted to take some free kicks. Said Ronnie, it's like, take the second or third goalkeeper. I'm 37. Come on, let's take one of the other guys. I'm tired. No. Come on, I want to score against the best. Yeah, but Ronnie, you're not going to score, so what's not the point? No, come on, you're getting goal. And of course, then he had the free kick and the position and the stance and the ball that floated. But he always wanted to end it with a goal. So it's not even whatever that I save one, okay, it's finished. But he always end up with a goal. I said, but Ronnie, I want to also have a good feeling of going into the game. It's not only about you. And of course, it's always been about him.
Now, every case scenario is different. I get it, I respect it, but it's just something to think about. Because these academies are no joke. They don't play no games. They will send you home in an instant. They have a backlog of kids that are ready and eager in a whim. There's also a big factor of mentally preparing for criticism, stick, managerial differences, press, fans, crowds, it goes everywhere. You have no idea. There's a lot of Prem players right now that when they have a bad game, there is literally no point of leaving the house to go to your favorite restaurant. Trust me, there's a mental strength that comes from playing football. You have to be there to see and experience it. And I've seen some of the most talented players crack and break over criticism, pressure, managerial differences, team differences, friendships, at home wifey issues and kids issues. Mentally, they just crumble. And this plays a big part into your character. What is your character like? That is something my dad always looked for, and it was his favorite word, honestly, it really was. It was like, all right, Pops, give it up. But he would always look at character. He said, this is character building. This is something that will build your character. Character is a key component to becoming a professional athlete in any capacity.
You obviously worked with Cristiano Ronaldo at the absolute peak. Can you talk to me about what it was like coaching that specimen on a day-to-day basis?
Well, do you even coach him?
Yeah. I think you don't coach. I think you don't.
You should make sure he's happy.
Teach much. It's about being happy, and it's about creating an environment by the tactical point of view, by the idea of football where the player can show the best.
But that Ronaldo, Kobe, MJ, that level of focus and dialed in, it's almost tunnel vision, needs to be apparent, because it can take you over the edge and it can make you become the better person first and foremost, and an exquisite player. Some people say it takes luck, and I don't really like the word luck. I like to call it more good fortune. And when I say good fortune, I am discussing moments that can change a player's life. Good fortune can be, for example, let's say you're playing a random game and you have an amazing game just by chance, and somehow there's an agent there. That could be good fortune. Some could look at that as luck. You could score an absolute belter and not know who's watching. In football, people talk, managers talk, coaches talk, and word spreads quickly. So if your attitude is wrong, you have a bad mindset, a terrible temper, loud mouth, you have off the field antics that could affect the changing room, these things can stop you getting a pro contract or even going to the next level. Luck and good fortune have stopped some of the greatest players ever walking. Have you ever met one of those kids or been at school and those kids that you knew was going to the top, knew that they had every ability and skill set to go pro in any sport, and just something happens, life happens, family situations, health. These are the things I'm talking about when I'm talking about good luck or just good fortune. Sometimes it's just not meant to be. And you know what? That's all right. If you love football that much, there are a plentiful of jobs within football where you can get your football fix. It took me a long time to realize this. I walked away from football. It's one of the craziest things I've ever done in my life, and I have my reasons for for that, and I'll make a video on that another time. But just because you don't go pro doesn't mean there aren't jobs within football that you can thrive in and have an illustrious career. I've seen a lot of kids break a leg, get hurt, get injured, fall out of the game, and it's over for them. It is crippling. It is literally life-ending, and a lot of players go off the deep end. I know a lot of footballers right now that have retired that fall off the deep end because football becomes your identity. It's a part of your life. It's a part of your everyday. You live and breathe it, and you just can't stop that. It's not a train that just stops at the end of the track. It has to continue, right?
Yes,
so I say that to say, if you are planning to go pro, definitely have a plan B and make that plan B within the industry you're trying to go in. That's all right. Just know one thing, I'm about to wrap it up, that football is a business. When you sign those contracts, when you cross over into the professional realm of football, know you are a commodity. This is a business. This is about numbers. This is about results. This isn't a like contest. This isn't a popularity contest. This isn't I'm the best player in the world and I'm showboating and I'm this and I can do step overs and I can do this and that and that. Are you bringing back what we are investing in you? Do not forget that. Yes, it takes some of the creativity out of the sport. Yes, it takes some of the love out of the sport. But if you know that in the back of your mind, trust me, it can help your career tenfold. Good luck to all you young footballers out there, and anyone that's about to go pro, please send me a message, send me an email. I would love to hear your stories. I wish you luck. I wish you good health. I wish you an illustrious career.
Yes, now.
Strive hard, keep working, believe in yourself, push to the next level. Just know, say Robson Genie believes in you. And this is why I always say at the end of my videos, stay focused, stay blessed, le call more.